Hi, all. Welcome to the Wedding Vision Workshop. I'm your host, Mama Katie. It's good to see you today. So, how's your holiday season going? Hope all of you got what you really wanted for Christmas. And if that was a little bling in the ring, awesome. We're going to get you started on everything that is wedding here at the Wedding Vision Workshop. So, today it is cold and it's wet and it's nasty outside, as you can see. I'm freezing to death, so I have stuff that isn't matching, but it's all warm, so I don't care. And but hey, 30 miles from here, it's accumulating about 8 feet of snow. So I'm okay with the rain. I'm perfectly fine with that. It is what it is. But hey, it's cold, it's dark, it's gloomy. It's a perfect day to get some wedding work done, right? So let's get into that nitty gritty. Now, if you saw some of the first couple videos, we've got a little bit of a head start on the little things to get you started, maybe a little mindset and all that kind of stuff. Today, we're going to talk about the first really big nitty gritty, get your hands dirty, big piece of your wedding planning going. And it's probably not what you think, okay? I know a lot of girls will run out and get their dress first, which is fine and dandy, but if you are choosing a venue that doesn't quite work for that dress, we got to kind of think about that. So you really want to know where you're going to get married before you go buy the dress, okay? With that in mind, though, you also need to know how many people are coming and what your wedding vision is as far as what that venue is going to look like. Because if you're planning a medieval castle wedding and you're looking at a barn, not quite the same thing. So you want to take a look at your wedding vision, and we're going to do a big exercise on that here in the next week or two. Okay, so just be ready for that. We're going to have so much fun. I've got several couples that are actually getting married, and we're going to be working on their wedding vision, which is going to be really fun. With that, we're also going to set their budget priorities, so you'll get to see how both of those work. That'll probably be 2 videos, but just to let you know, that's what's on the list. Um, but for right now, you need to know what your guest list is, because you need to know how big of a venue to get. If you are inviting 150 people, you'll probably have 120 show up. But if your venue can only hold 100 and then the fire department comes in and says, ooh, yeah, you gotta, let's do that list first. So today, well, we've talked about it in the past videos. The very first thing you got to do is get that wedding email address. So if you haven't done that, set up your wedding email address. That is where everything wedding is going to go. All your vendor correspondence, all your bridal party correspondence. If it's with a wedding, it goes to that wedding email address. It's the only way that your personal email is going to survive. Okay, so don't use your personal email address, use a wedding email address. All right, and then we'll do the vision workshop, like I said, in a week or two. So now we're going to talk about that guest list. And this is your first big teamwork exercise. Remember, I said Wedding Vision Workshop is all about teamwork. It takes both of you on board to get this done, okay? This is your first big teamwork effort as a couple who's getting married, okay? So you're going to freestyle start your list. Do a little brainstorming session. You need to think about the family, the wedding party, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, who all is coming. And you can take that list as far out as you want to, okay? You can include the bar buddies, you can include the teammates, the coworkers, the moms on the tumbling team. Who knows? I don't know what you got going on in your life, but you know who your people are, okay? So just kind of freestyle that list there. Make sure to ask your family if there's anyone that's getting left out that you might have accidentally just left them off the list. Um, Now, with that, This is not an invitation for them to invite everybody, especially your parents. This is not a chance for them to invite their tennis buddies or their business clients. I have literally seen a couple of dads actually, turn a wedding reception into their personal business reception. It's not that, guys. Sorry, Dad, you can't be doing that. Okay, it's just not cool. So the other thing that you have to decide with this is this going to be a wedding with kids or without kids? You've got your ring bearer and your flower girls and all that kind of stuff. But do you want this to be a kidless wedding where everybody can enjoy the night off and, get a babysitter and all that good stuff? Or is this something where the kids all need to be there? If you are merging families, you probably don't want it to be a kidless a kidless reception. You want it to be with their kids. And with that, they might want to invite like one or two of their best friends too. Um, and if it's a kidless, what are we doing with the kids? Are we doing like a hotel suite with pizza and a nanny and, ice cream served by room service? Or I don't know, you can have all kinds of fun with that. I actually highly suggest that kind of thing. So, if you do it at someone's house or you do it at the hotel or something like that, how are we going to get the kids from the wedding over to the babysitter, all that kind of thing. So definitely things to think about, but just kind of keep that in mind. And you need to know that as you're getting this list going. Now, once you've got your list, okay, and it's probably going to be huge at this point, and you're going to go, oh my God, we can't do this. This is where you sit down and you rank the list, okay? Here's your rankings. One is they absolutely must be there. This would be the parents, the family, the wedding party, your super best friends that didn't make it into the wedding party. But these are the people that absolutely must be there. And you know who those people are. Number two is we really, really, really want them there. But if we couldn't, they would understand if we had to cut somewhere. So that's like friends, your cousins, the not immediate family, that kind of thing. Um, these are the people that will understand that each person that you invite is a concert ticket. It's $300 per person for the average wedding right now. Now that's going to include that when I say that number, that budget includes like your attire, and it's like pretty much turnkey, walk in the door, get married is going to be $300 a person. So just know that that's kind of where you're going to be figuring your budget, and this is where, and even if you're cutting corners, it's still going to be 200. It's still a concert ticket. So these would be people who understand that you got to cut someplace, okay? Now, here's the warning that I give with that. Be sure and be cutting before you send out invitations and not after you send out invitations, okay? Number three, category three is, we love these people to death. But we can always send them an announcement later and have them over for a barbecue over the summer. Okay. So this would be like your coworkers, your bar buddies, your baseball team friends, all that kind of stuff. So now the thing to really think about too is you're going to be all anxious to get the save the dates done. You want to go get those engagement pictures done, which engagement pictures you want to do as one of your first steps. Okay, no problem there. But the save the date cards are going to go to the people on list number one only until you know which of those people on list one can't come. Okay. Or until you know that your budget is freed up enough to start inviting people from list number two. Um, with that, because it's really easy to cut it before you send those out because they don't know that they were invited anyway. If you're sending out the save the dates and then they don't get an invitation, it gets a little awkward. And to the point of I have literally had people show up at weddings multiple times with a save the date thinking that it's an invitation. That's awkward. Okay. Now, when you're putting your list together, you need to start thinking about how you're going to manage this list. A lot of you are like finding software online and that kind of thing, applications and whatever. Um, like I said, I'm not the most techie person on the planet. I'm a little old school, so I've got my Excel spreadsheet going. It's got yes, they're coming. No, they're not. What's their entree choice? And maybe a column that says whether they need to come to a rehearsal dinner or not. Rehearsal dinners tend to be just the wedding party, the people who were at the rehearsal. Then you need to decide, are you going to invite their spouses along with them? Okay, so I highly suggest that. That way they feel a little more included. It helps a lot. But just to let you know, you're going to want to keep track of that too. So the other thing that you need to think about is hotel accommodations. If you've got a lot of people from out of town, most hotels will do what they call a room block, and that gives you a group rate. And they'll do that like 5 to 10 rooms, 10 rooms or more, that kind of thing, where they will give anyone who calls in and makes a reservation against that room block name, um, they get a special group rate. Now, as you're doing that contract with the hotel, look for the word attrition, okay? attrition, attrition. And what that means is that at 4 to 6 weeks, usually it'll change with some hotels, but 4 to 6 weeks, they will drop whatever rooms in the block were not reserved. And that way you are not legally responsible financially to buy up those rooms. Attrition, you might be responsible for some of that. So there might be a percentage that you have to pay. So you're going for zero attrition. Okay, you don't want to have to pay for those rooms if you don't have to. Have that conversation when you're setting up the room block. Um, they may change how many weeks out you have to go with that, but that's all something that'll get worked out in that. So do that group rate, because that'll give your guests a better rate for the hotel rooms, and watch that attrition. So, and that way you can put that all in your on your wedding website and all that. Here's where we're going to get married. Here's where the hotel is. Here's just boom, 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 all the stuff. So now let's talk RSVPs. Okay, when you book with your caterer, you're going to have a date that you have to be giving them the final numbers. Set your RSVPs for a week or two before that. And then don't be that mean girl. And when I say mean girl, I mean everybody, okay? I'm not just picking on the girls, but don't be mean and say, well, they had their chance. They could have texted me or they could have emailed me or, they didn't send their RSVP in or whatever. You don't know what's going on in their lives. If they're an event planning type person like I am the worst at RSVPing. I'm just going to say it. Sorry. It's just, it's kind of like a mechanic. Mechanics don't fix their own cars. I don't RSVP my own parties. It's terrible. So be nice and call. There's this really cool thing. It's called a phone. Pick it up and call them and say, are you guys coming or not? I got to get my numbers in. They will understand that. They will say it's, yes or no, it's happening, give you the circumstances that's going on, it's all fine. But just make the effort and call. It's so sweet to do that and makes you a much more popular person too, so it kind of helps. And like I said, about 20 to 30% of your list won't make it to the wedding. Even if they've RSVP'd, sometimes they won't make it to the weddings. I don't know, but um, just be aware of that. It doesn't happen for every wedding like that. I've had weddings where everybody showed up and then some. We had to put up an extra table or two, but 9 times out of 10, and I'd say probably a lot better odds than that. The chances are really good that 20 to 30% of those people will not make it. So if you've got 150, you're looking at 120 that are actually going to show up. If you're looking at 200, you're looking at 150 to 170, 180 will show up kind of thing. So, probably 150, but just kind of give you an idea of where you're going to fall with that. So, well, that is all my advice on the guest list. So, did that help? I hope it helped. Um, Please subscribe. Make any comments that you want to in the bottom there, and kind of give me an idea what works for you or what doesn't. But subscribe. This is a brand new channel. We're trying to build it up. And if you like this video, hit the like. And if you want to know more, like I said, we've got some really fun things: how to survive a wedding show, how to set your vision, how to make your priorities. We're going to go over how to survive without driving yourself crazy. So there's like things like no wedding weekends and things like that. We have a lot of material to cover. So like it, subscribe it, and we will see you, I guess, at the next Wedding Vision workshop. I think we'll be here like next week. So hit the chime so you know when I do another video. Okay. Someone's chiming me now. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later. Happy New Year. Bye.